The entire hip-hop industry is in an absolute state of shock right now because a devastating viral photo just exposed the ultimate lie. Rick Ross, the self-proclaimed biggest boss who has spent decades bragging about his billionaire lifestyle, was just spotted trapped in a cramped economy class seat on a regular commercial flight. No private jet, no VIP luxury, just pure panic. But it gets so much worse. Within minutes of that photo hitting the internet, his most ruthless rival, 50 Cent, weaponized the chaos by leaking highly confidential bank statements and secret debt documents that completely destroy Ross's luxury illusion. The leaked receipts are out, and they prove that a bank repo team has quietly and brutally seized Ross's multi-million-dollar private jet after months of catastrophic defaulted payments. The boss isn't just flying commercial. He is drowning under a mountain of unpayable debt, and 50 Cent just executed the ultimate financial execution. This isn't just another internet entertainment beef. This is the total, heartbreaking demolition of an empire. You are not going to believe the sinister master plan 50 Cent used to trigger this absolute downfall. Let's break down exactly how the illusion was shattered forever. To fully comprehend the absolute devastation unfolding across the music world right now, you have to realize that this isn't some manufactured marketing stunt. This is the catastrophic culmination of a brutal, 15-year psychological war of attrition between Curtis, 50 Cent, Jackson, and William Leonard Roberts II, the man who built an entire kingdom on the name Rick Ross. For over a decade and a half, these two multi-millionaire juggernauts have been locked in a venomous, blood-soaked rivalry where the ultimate goal isn't just to score a Billboard hit. It is to utterly erase the other man's dignity from the culture forever. It is a conflict rooted in pure, unadulterated corporate and personal hatred, and every single insider in the industry knew that eventually, one of these titans would deploy a weapon so toxic it would leave the other completely ruined. At the absolute core of this lethal chess match lies Rick Ross's most fragile vulnerability, the illusion of the biggest boss. Ross has meticulously constructed a persona of astronomical, untouchable wealth. His entire musical legacy relies on you believing he is an elite kingpin who spends money like water, flooding your timelines with a 100-car garage, gold-plated chains, mega mansions, and of course, his infamous custom private jet. But here is the terrifying truth that the industry kept hidden. If you strip away the luxury, if you take away the private aviation, the entire foundation of Rick Ross's identity turns to absolute dust. He isn't just an artist. He is a visual illusion of extreme wealth, and 50 Cent has spent 15 years studying every single crack in that golden armor, waiting for the perfect moment to dismantle it piece by piece. You see, 50 Cent is an absolute master of financial demolition. Think back to the devastating Officer Ricky era of 2009. When Ross thought he was on top of the world, 50 went digging into dark archives, pulling out the infamous correctional officer records that almost ended Ross's rap career before it even began. Ross barely survived that near-fatal strike by completely doubling down on his wealthy presentation, buying Evander Holyfield's massive 109-room estate and plastering his luxury lifestyle all over Instagram to drown out the truth. But 50 Cent never stopped watching. While Ross was busy celebrating his fake victories and posing in front of private planes, 50 was quietly funding elite investigators, tracking international bank wires, and building a massive, highly confidential paper trail of Ross's hidden debts. 50 didn't want to just hurt Ross's reputation this time. He wanted a total financial execution. Now, the hidden pressure behind closed doors has finally caused the entire system to explode. For months, whispers have echoed through corporate backrooms that Ross was dangerously over-leveraged, drowning in massive secret mortgages and terrifying tax liens from the state of Georgia. The tension was a ticking time bomb, and all 50 Cent needed was a single, public slip-up to unleash absolute hell. That slip-up happened the exact moment that humiliating photo of Ross trapped in a commercial economy seat leaked to the world. It was the trigger 50 Cent had spent a decade preparing for. He immediately pulled the pin on his financial grenade, preparing to dump confidential debt files that were meant to stay buried forever. But you are not going to believe the sinister, Hidden Clause 50 found buried deep inside those leaked bank statements, because the private jet repossession was just the opening move in a plot far more terrifying than anyone imagined. The digital landscape completely fractured the exact moment 50 Cent uploaded a series of high-definition, unredacted legal documents directly to his main social media feed with a caption that read, "The repo man doesn't care about your lyrics. Ricky, pack your bags. You're flying coach." This wasn't just a regular internet jab. This was a calculated corporate execution. The leaked files contained explosive, top-secret bank statements from a high-end aviation financing firm, and the numbers on the screen left the entire music industry completely breathless. According to these leaked records, the biggest boss had failed to pay his massive $185,000 monthly lease and maintenance fees on his customized, signature private jet for 6 consecutive months. The total outstanding balance, including late fees, penalties, and interest, had snowballed into a staggering unpayable $1.4 million secret debt. To understand how terrifyingly real this nightmare became, we have to look at the exact scene where the hammer officially dropped. The vivid details coming from insider airport staff are absolutely chaotic. Just hours before the commercial economy class photo went viral, Rick Ross's custom jet was sitting on the tarmac at the Opa-locka Executive Airport in Miami, with the engines warming up for a scheduled flight. Suddenly, 3 unmarked black SUVs tore through the security gates, carrying a team of corporate asset recovery specialists and federal marshals. They didn't care about the platinum plaques or the Maybach Music Group legacy. In front of horrified pilots and airport mechanics, they served a mandatory, emergency court-ordered asset seizure warrant. They literally placed a corporate lock on the aircraft's doors and towed the multi-million-dollar symbol of Ross's empire off the runway. Can you even begin to imagine the sheer, suffocating humiliation of having your private jet repossessed right in front of your own flight crew? Behind closed doors, the emotional fallout inside Ross's camp was nothing short of absolute carnage. Leaked WhatsApp group chats, allegedly obtained from a disgruntled former assistant within Maybach Music Group, paint a picture of pure, unadulterated panic. In the text messages, Ross is reportedly screaming in all capital letters, demanding to know how these private financial records were breached, yelling, "Find the rat in the office. Who gave them the routing numbers? Shut this down now." The panic was so intense that several top executives within his team reportedly threatened to resign on the spot as Ross went on a furious rampage, throwing phones and realizing that his entire public identity was being completely dismantled in front of millions of fans. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was turning the knife on Instagram Live, laughing hysterically while holding a glass of luxury cognac, directly mocking Ross's desperation. 50 Cent looked straight into the camera and said, "Hey Ricky, I told you that lifestyle was just a presentation. You can't cut your own grass to pay a jet lease, boy. The bank owns the sky, and you're stuck on the ground with a carry-on bag." The internet absolutely exploded, with the screenshots of the leaked debt documents spreading like wildfire across Twitter and TikTok. Fans were frantically trying to verify the signatures on the paperwork, completely divided between pure shock and utter disbelief that the ultimate rap mogul was secretly drowning in an ocean of unpayable luxury debt. But just when you think this financial bloodbath couldn't possibly get any more vicious, the story takes its first catastrophic twist, and it is a revelation so sinister it will completely change how you view this entire feud. As corporate lawyers and investigative journalists began deeply analyzing the fine print at the very bottom of the leaked repossession documents, they discovered a hidden detail that turned this entire scandal into a horror movie for Rick Ross. The multi-million-dollar default debt on the jet hadn't just been handed over to a standard bank or a regular collection agency. It turns out that 3 weeks before the seizure took place, a mysterious Delaware-based shell corporation called Prestige Sky Holdings LLC had quietly stepped in and purchased the entire distressed loan package from the original aviation lender for cash. And guess who owns 100% of Prestige Sky Holdings? Yes, you guessed it, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Let that sink in for a second. 50 Cent didn't just find out about Rick Ross's secret debt. He literally bought the debt. He became Ross's financial landlord. He didn't just watch the bank take the jet. 50 Cent was the one who legally signed the order to send the repo men to the hangar. Rick Ross wasn't just losing his private jet to a financial crisis. He had accidentally defaulted on his worst, most ruthless enemy. 50 Cent now holds the physical title and complete ownership of Rick Ross's signature plane, meaning every single dollar Ross tried to hide was directly controlled by the man who has vowed to destroy him. But as the industry reels from this absolute betrayal, a second leaked report has just surfaced from Miami, proving that 50 Cent's master plan goes infinitely deeper than just a single airplane. The internet did not just explode. It suffered a complete and total digital blackout the moment the reality of 50 Cent's financial ambush set in. Within 3 hours of the leak, the hashtag RepoRicky was trending #1 worldwide on X, clocking in over 2 million frantic tweets. Financial news platforms, entertainment blogs, and mainstream outlets were left completely scrambling to verify the madness. Wall Street insiders were stunned, and hip-hop purists were losing their minds. But if you thought 50 Cent was satisfied with just towing a multi-million-dollar aircraft away from a hangar, you completely underestimate the levels of his psychological cruelty. Because what happened next didn't just escalate the beef. It completely changed the legal and financial narrative of the entire music industry. Just as the global panic reached its peak, 50 Cent went live on Instagram again. This time, he wasn't sitting in his office. He was walking up the gold-plated stairs of Rick Ross's actual, repossessed private jet. He toured the leather cabin, mocking the custom MMG pillows, before sitting down in the pilot seat and dropping the second, most catastrophic twist of this entire saga. 50 Cent looked dead into the lens and held up a thick, notarized legal document. "You see this print right here, Ricky?" 50 laughed, his voice dripping with venom. "Your lawyers aren't very smart, boy. This jet loan wasn't an isolated line of credit. It was cross-collateralized with your real estate portfolio. You used the equity of your Star Island mansion in Miami to back up this plane. And since you defaulted on me, guess who just filed a mandatory notice of foreclosure on your house? That's right. I'm not just your pilot, Ricky. I'm your landlord. You've got 30 days to clear out of Miami, or I'm putting my G-Unit logos on your front gates." Let the absolute horror of that statement sink in for a second. 50 Cent didn't just take the plane. He used the legal fine print of the default to lock his sights on Rick Ross's actual home. The illusion of the biggest boss wasn't just cracking anymore. It was being completely demolished by a legal wrecking ball. Instantly, social media collapsed under the weight of the revelation. Fake Twitter threads and leaked screenshots from verified industry insiders began flooding the timeline, creating a toxic wave of celebrity backlash. DJ Academics took to his live stream, screaming at the top of his lungs, "This is unprecedented." 50 Cent did not just win the beef, he literally bought the man's life. We're watching a corporate execution live on the internet. Ross is in an economy seat right now with no jet and potentially no house. Meek Mill tried to jump into the comment section to defend his former label boss, tweeting, "Y'all feeding into fake news and corporate propaganda. MMG is forever rich. We got paper you can't even count." But 50 Cent instantly clapped back, replying to Meek, "Shut up, Meek. Before I buy your contract from him for $1 and make you clean the jet floors." Meek deleted the tweet within 60 seconds. The industry backlash was swift and completely merciless. Rumors began spreading that major corporate sponsors and liquor brands were already holding emergency board meetings to sever ties with Ross, terrified that his impending financial bankruptcy would permanently damage their corporate images. Elite hip-hop figures who used to proudly stand beside Ross completely vanished from his mentions. Drake reportedly dropped a single, cryptic laughing emoji on a rap blog's post before going completely radio silent. Nobody wanted to cross 50 Cent's legal team, and nobody wanted to be associated with a falling titan. But just when the public thought the drama had reached its absolute ceiling, a third, terrifying piece of evidence leaked from an anonymous whistleblower account on Telegram, and this is the cliffhanger that changes everything. A blurry photograph surfaced showing an official federal courier delivering a massive, sealed envelope directly to the security gates of Ross's Georgia estate, the Promised Land. The camera caught a glimpse of the return address on the document, and it didn't belong to 50 Cent, and it didn't belong to a bank. It belonged to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Internal Revenue Service. The leaked text accompanying the photo alleges that 50 Cent's private investigators didn't just hand the debt documents to the public, they handed over Ross's hidden financial ledger directly to federal authorities, triggering an emergency asset freeze that goes infinitely deeper than a missing private jet. Is the federal government about to shut down the entire promised land? What exactly is hidden inside that federal envelope? The internet did not just react to this catastrophic exposure. Social media completely weaponized itself, fracturing into a state of absolute digital warfare. Within minutes of that shocking Internal Revenue Service envelope arriving at the promised land, the comment sections across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube transformed into toxic battlegrounds. We are talking about millions of fans, bots, and industry insiders losing their minds, completely unable to process the terrifying reality that the biggest boss might actually be a completely bankrupt illusion. The division between the two fan bases is deeper and more hostile than anything we have ever witnessed in hip-hop history. On one side, Team 50 Cent is throwing an absolute victory parade, utterly ruthless in their mockery. Fans are flooding Rick Ross's old luxury posts with laughing emojis, posting things like, 50 Cent didn't just win the beef, he literally took the man's wings away. How are you rapping about keys when you don't even own the keys to your own plane? Another viral tweet with over 200,000 likes reads, imagine sitting in seat 24B in coach, looking up and seeing Rick Ross trying to fit his chains into the overhead compartment because 50 Cent bought his debt. This is the greatest corporate execution of all time. But on the completely opposite side of the ledger, Rick Ross's diehard loyalists are firing back with absolute rage and desperation. They are aggressively claiming that this entire scandal is nothing but a highly coordinated, illegal smear campaign designed to destroy a black billionaire's reputation. Ross's defenders are flooding the timeline with conspiracy theories, screaming that the leaked bank statements are sophisticated deepfakes engineered by 50 Cent's tech team. One prominent Ross fan page posted a frantic video defending the mogul, stating, "Y'all are completely blind. Ross Flying Commercial is a smart business, moved to save fuel while his custom Gulfstream G550 undergoes routine maintenance. 50 Cent is just obsessed and carrying out a pathetic vendetta because he can't stop thinking about the boss." The corporate music industry and mainstream news networks are in a state of absolute, unmitigated panic. Emergency segments are flashing across TV screens globally. TMZ just dropped a breaking news alert claiming that 3 major multi-million-dollar corporate sponsors have quietly paused their marketing contracts with Maybach Music Group, terrified of being dragged into a federal tax fraud investigation. On The Breakfast Club, the hosts openly debated whether this is the official end of Rick Ross's career. The commentary was chilling. If the IRS is truly at the gates of the promised land because of files 50 Cent handed over, this isn't just rap beef theater anymore. This is a real-life federal takedown. If Ross loses that 109-room mansion, the boss persona is dead forever. There is no coming back from that level of public humiliation. Even high-level hip-hop heavyweights are secretly scrambling, terrified to publicly choose a side. Rumors are swirling that several A-list artists who have major collaborations with Ross are frantically calling their legal teams, trying to scrub their names from upcoming MMG projects before the federal asset freeze traps their royalties in a legal chokehold. But let me ask you guys directly, whose side are you actually on? Do you think Rick Ross is secretly broke and living a completely fake lifestyle? Or is 50 Cent crossing a dangerous, unforgivable line by trying to legally and financially destroy another man's life? The stakes have never been higher, and the chaos is growing by the second. But you are not going to believe the absolute horror that just leaked from inside the promised land itself, because a frantic, leaked audio recording of Rick Ross talking to his head attorney has just been uploaded to the dark web. And what he says about that IRS letter changes the entire narrative of this war forever. The dark web audio file, which was intercepted and leaked by an anonymous hacker collective just hours ago, has completely flipped this entire war on its head. The audio is muffled, filled with static, and features the unmistakable, booming voice of Rick Ross speaking directly to his top criminal defense attorney. But he wasn't panicking. He wasn't screaming. In fact, what sent chills down the spines of everyone who listened to it was the sound of Rick Ross letting out a slow, sinister, raspy laugh. "Let him talk," Ross says in the leaked recording, his tone chillingly calm. "Let him take the jet." The idiot swallowed the bait hook, line, and sinker. He thinks he's chess playing, but he just walked straight into a federal buzzsaw. The absolute shock of this audio recording has left financial analysts and legal experts completely scrambling. As it turns out, this entire private jet repossession wasn't a victory for 50 Cent. It was a beautifully orchestrated, lethal trap, according to the explosive strategy Ross outlines to his lawyer in the leaked audio. The aviation financing company that held the original lease on the jet was already being secretly investigated by the federal government for high-level corporate tax evasion and international money laundering. Ross's financial team had discovered the investigation months ago. Ross intentionally stopped making the payments on the jet. He wanted the loan to go into default.
Why?
Because he knew 50 Cent's private investigators were monitoring his bank statements. He knew 50 Cent's toxic obsession with him would force him to do something reckless. Ross calculated that 50 Cent would jump at the chance to buy the distressed debt through a shell company, and that is exactly what happened. The moment 50 Cent's company, Prestige Sky Holdings, bought that toxic loan package, 50 Cent legally assumed 100% of the financial liabilities, the fraud history, and the active federal criminal investigation attached to that asset. Remember that massive IRS envelope that was delivered to the Promised Land? The one the internet thought was a foreclosure notice for Rick Ross? The ultimate twist has just been exposed. That envelope wasn't a demand for Ross's taxes. It was a formal, federal notification informing Ross that because the debt on his jet had been purchased by a third party under federal investigation, Ross was officially cleared of the liability. The IRS was actually warning Ross that they were moving in to seize the assets of the new owner. 50 Cent didn't just buy Rick Ross's debt. 50 Cent accidentally bought a one-way ticket into a federal criminal investigation. By trying to execute the ultimate financial revenge, 50 Cent legally tied his own multi-million-dollar empire to a corrupted, blacklisted loan. The immediate fallout is turning into an absolute horror movie for G-Unit. Unverified insider reports are claiming that within the last 60 minutes, the Department of Justice has issued an emergency, temporary freeze on all corporate accounts associated with Prestige Sky Holdings LLC until the origin of the funds used to buy the jet debt can be verified. 50 Cent's brilliant master plan has completely backfired, dragging both of hip-hop's biggest moguls into a financial death match where the loser doesn't just lose their mansion, they lose their actual freedom. Right now, unconfirmed reports are flooding the internet claiming that unmarked federal vehicles have just been spotted heading toward 50 Cent's corporate headquarters in New York, while local police have blocked off the main entrance to Ross's Georgia estate. The entire culture is holding its breath as a catastrophic storm prepares to hit both camps. This is no longer an entertainment beef. This is a countdown to a legal execution. The next 24 hours will change the music industry forever, and we are tracking every single police scanner and leaked court docket. You're not going to want to miss the next update, because the first arrest warrant is about to be signed. This is an absolute chess match, and the entire board just caught fire. If these corporate accounts are being frozen, we are about to witness the most dangerous legal execution in the history of hip-hop. But I need to hear from you guys right now. Who do you think is actually telling the truth? Did Rick Ross pull off a brilliant, multi-million-dollar federal trap to destroy his enemy, or has 50 Cent completely exposed the biggest boss as a total financial bluff? Drop your predictions in the comments right now. This debate is about to get chaotic. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications because the exact second that first arrest warrant drops, we are going live to break it down. Stay tuned, because the next chapter is already leaking.